Welcome back to the Become Her Story series. I am Dr. Kim Brown Barber, better known as Dr. Kim, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. We have this platform specifically to make sure that we encourage you and that we're here to highlight your stories because you are fabulous. You are wonderful and you deserve to be highlighted and celebrated. So we're here to celebrate you. We're here to celebrate our Become Her guests. And we are here to give you support and information and enlightenment on your journey to becoming. So with us today, we have none other than Cyndrea. Let me make sure I'm saying it right.
Yes, that's
Mathews. Did
correct.
I get that right? Okay.
Yep, you got that right.
Tell us. I mean, like I was so intrigued with what our last Become a Story, Brandy Day, had told me about you that we had to reach out to her. She was tagged as the next Become a Story. So I'm really interested to get into this for our audience and for our community to find more about you so we can see what we need to highlight in you, and then so we can see how I can encourage somebody else on their journey to becoming. So introduce yourself and tell us a little about your background.
Okay, well, as you mentioned, my name is Cyndrea Mathews. I am the CEO and co-owner of For the Culture Beauty Supply, located in Culver City, California. I'm also a wife and a mother to two young, beautiful children. So definitely have my hands full.
Definitely.
And in terms of my background, I was actually born in Los Angeles, but raised in Seattle.
Okay.
I was raised by my grandparents along with 5 of my 8 siblings. So,
wow. Did you say 8?
Yes.
Did you say 8?
Yes. So I
Okay,
come
we
from a
didn't. It
big
wasn't a
family.
technical difficulties, everybody. She said 8. Okay.
You heard that right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was definitely fun growing up, and I'm actually the middle child. I'm the 5th child. So got 4 above me and 4 younger. And growing up, I honestly, looking back, can see that I always had like this entrepreneurial spirit. I was that probably annoying little girl with a lemonade stand. I had the Italian soda stand. I made homemade jewelry.
Wow.
I used my grandmother's sewing machine, and I would just take my family's clothing, start sewing them, and then charge them after.
That's pretty good.
But all those things, and just actually, I think I was in 4th grade or something like that, and I had the opportunity. One of my teachers took me to a toy store because I had helped her clean her classroom, and I had the choice to get anything I wanted, and I chose a cash register.
Wow.
And she was like, "Are
Wow.
you sure this is what
Are
you
you
want?" I was like, "Yeah."
serious?
And I went
4th
home.
grade and you wanted a cash register.
I turned my desk around facing the door like I had seen in the movies, and I was open for business. So like, it's pretty
Wow.
hilarious to me now, but like looking back, I was, very focused at a young age, and I absolutely saw myself as a businesswoman. And so, I always kind of had that in the back of my mind and something I wanted to pursue. But as I entered college, I actually considered a business major, but decided on communications because I felt like
Mm-hmm.
it was a little more connected to my passion for writing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I graduated from Washington State University with my major in communications, then went on to graduate school at University of Southern California, where I got my master's in communication management. From there, I started my career in the corporate world doing social media marketing for a PR firm.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, like that entrepreneurial calling is not one you can really ignore. I
Mm-hmm.
learned. So,
Mm-hmm.
so after that, I think it was after my second maternity leave, the call just got too loud. I couldn't focus at work. I was like,
Wow.
I just wanted to be doing my own thing and doing something different. So I finally decided to take the leap. I left my job and dived fully into building my store, my business. And I was a full-time entrepreneur for about a year
Mm-hmm.
until I decided to take a position with a Black-owned advertising firm. The opportunity presented itself, and the vibe was just so cool and so authentic to where I am in my life, that I decided to go ahead and take advantage of that opportunity, and saw it as an opportunity to learn, more advertising strategies and techniques that
Mm-hmm.
I could also employ for my business. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, that stable income is nice and allows me to
Yeah,
continue to pour into my business. So,
that's right.
so that's kind of where I am now, and
Okay.
working full time, running my business, being a wife and mother, and juggling it all.
Exactly. That's interesting. We talked about work life balance, dealing with a show that I co-host called the Real
Mhm.
Talk Show. So it's funny, we had different women on there talking about that work life balance. It's trying to juggle everything. So that's
Right.
amazing.
Mhm.
Now being the middle child of eight siblings, four in front and four in back. It's interesting. What are some of your high points and challenging points in growing up? What does that look like?
Yeah.
I can
So I
imagine you
think,
had some challenging and high points.
yeah, definitely. Actually, so in terms of high points, my siblings were definitely one of them. We're all very close and tight knit, and we have a lot of fun
Nice.
together. So that's
Mm-hmm.
definitely was one of the high points growing up. Um, you know, I had a really good childhood, I would say, in terms of joining sports. I did a lot of summer activities. I even
Mm-hmm.
had the opportunity to travel to Europe in fifth grade, and that was life changing
Nice.
for me,
Yes.
and definitely kind of instilled that passion in me for traveling as well. So
Mm-hmm.
that was huge for me. But of course, it came with its challenges. So
Sure.
six of us were raised by my paternal grandparents, and my grandfather was a mechanic. My grandmother stayed home and cared for us, her second set of six children, because she had six
Mm.
children of her own. And
Wow.
so and so
Really?
yes, and she's a Panamanian woman of West Indian descent, so she's fiery and passionate, and we get a lot of our energy from her as well.
Mm.
But it had its challenges. Sometimes, of course, having to go without in such a big family of children. My grandparents did their best. Just kind of dealing with the reality of our parents' situation, struggling with
Sure.
addiction. So those were some of the challenges that we had to fight through and overcome. But um, I think one challenge in particular was in high school. There was a point in time where we were actually homeless for a few months.
Mm.
By that time, I think it was my older brothers and sisters mostly had moved out and gone to college or other things, but it was
Mm-hmm.
myself and my younger brother who still lived with our grandparents. And
Mm-hmm.
um, my younger brother and my grandparents stayed in a motel, but I stayed with one of my friends. So that's definitely one thing that stands out to me as just like a
Mm-hmm.
challenging point in time. But
Sure.
but overall, I think we were able to kind of overcome some of those things and continue to push forward.
Sure. Well, it definitely seems like you had your high points of, having your family being so close knit, right? But
Mhm.
you had some challenging points that you pushed through, and that's the thing about
Mhm.
it is one thing I love to highlight in the hashtag Becomer stories is that, everybody has their ups and downs, but it's what you do with it, right? How you
Exactly.
answer it. And so I love hearing how you answered it. You answered it by pushing through and pushing up. So not only pushing through, but pushing up. So that leads
Absolutely.
me into like how you got into the beauty industry. Like you were a communication major and even got your master's in communication management. So how did you end
Mhm.
up getting into the beauty industry? And then, what pulled you into that? What
Mhm.
made that come about?
Yeah, I think even growing up, like doing my own hair was something that I was always interested in. And being the third girl and the fifth
Mm,
child,
mm-hmm.
my grandma was over it. She didn't have
Right.
time to do my hair.
I can understand
She
that.
didn't have time for all that. And my older sister started out doing my hair, but then she went to go hang out with her friends. She didn't want to be stuck
Right.
at home doing her little sister's
Right.
hair. So I had to figure it out. And
Right.
that's what I did. I taught myself how to
Wow.
braid. And by the time I got to middle school and high school, I could straighten my own hair, braid it, do
Wow.
cornrows, whatever. So it was always something that I was interested in. And I think as I just grew and entered my natural hair journey, I started to watch YouTube videos
Mm-hmm.
and follow other naturalistas on their journey as well. And I actually came across an article in, I think, 2016 about two young Black women who had opened their own beauty supply store. I think it was in Moreno Valley. And that article was actually very inspiring for me. It talked a lot about the reality of the beauty supply industry, being that Black women are the primary consumers of the beauty supply industry. But I think at the time, Black ownership in the industry was less than 3%.
Sure.
And so just learning more about that, and then even like reflecting on my own experience in beauty supply stores, I started to form a vision for my own store, and kind of pulling on that entrepreneurial calling and that passion for natural hair. And it just felt like the perfect fit for me. And so I started to kind of write down my vision for my store in my journal. But it wasn't until actually 2 years later, 2018, my hairstylist at the time and I were talking while she was doing my hair. And, you know, she was going through a transition in her life. And I'm like, well, what's next for you? Like, what are your goals? And she's like, I've always wanted to open a beauty supply store, and I wanted to have a salon, and I wanted to be an open vibe and specialize in natural hair care and this and that. And like everything she was saying was almost word for word what I had been writing in my journal the last 2 years. And so it kind of stopped me in my tracks a little. It was a little surreal for me, because I was like, could she have been reading my journal?
Right. Did I leave my journal here by accident? What's going on here?
So I actually didn't say anything at that time, because I was honestly so shook. But like
I get it.
I honestly prayed about it. And I think it was like 2 weeks later, I saw a tweet, and it said, my natural hair care needs don't end at 9 p.m. We need a 24-hour beauty supply for the culture. And a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, for the culture, that's going to be the name of my store. And from there, I literally called Shantika, is my partner's name. I called her the next day, and I was like, you remember you were talking about that beauty supply, store you wanted to open? I actually have the same vision. Would you want to partner? She was like, absolutely, let's do it. And so 5 months later, For the Culture Beauty Supply was open.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing. I mean, like everything that happened, I mean, like it was definitely a pull, and it was definitely a calling, and it was definitely timing. And that's what I hear.
All that.
Timing, calling, all of that. Like, you didn't just all of a sudden say, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do. I'm being pulled to do this, and just jump. You kind of like, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm going to start writing some things down. And that's what happens. Absolutely. You start writing the vision, right? And make it plain, and it will come to pass, right?
Absolutely.
And so then all of a sudden, your journey was met with someone else's journey to mesh together, to have this, this goal to be met, one of your purposes to be met for both of you. And so you're right about everything you said about the statistics dealing with hair care, and specifically Black hair care, ethnic hair care, should I say, as well, in total. But I know you also call your business LA's home of the DIY hair oil and butter bar. What does that mean?
Yes, so actually, yeah, for sure. So I mentioned that along my natural hair care journey, I started to watch YouTube videos. And one of the things I would see is a lot of naturalistas experimenting with DIY hair products. So that's taking natural oils, natural butter, some essential oils, mixing it all together to create. You can create butters, you can create conditioners, you can create hair masks, or just hair oils. And so that being such a big part of my journey, I thought it would be a really cool element to have in our store. So so that's one of the unique features we offer, is a bar, a DIY hair oil and butter bar, where we have natural oils like shea butter, mango butter, kapuasu, aloe butter, coconut oil, olive oil, castor oil.
You got to be kidding. I'm blown away.
Right. And then some essential oils, and you can create your own mixture right there in the store. You can also kind of rent the space out to have like a little girls' day, and come, you guys each get to make your own mixtures. You also get a DIY tutorial. And So that is why we call ourselves LA's home of the DIY hair oil and butter bar. It's also a unique feature that not many other beauty supply stores
No,
offer,
not at all.
and none in the LA area that I
I was
know
gonna say
of.
not too
So,
many, not too many I know about,
right,
and that's amazing. I mean, like we've been doing this, right? And that's what it is with entrepreneurship. It's catching the niche, right? Being able
right.
to identify it and knowing how to answer it. We've all been doing this as far as ethnic, ladies. And gentlemen, getting into that
Hmm.
too. But
Right.
specifically the ethnic women have been getting into natural hair care, right? And being able to love our hair, right? And so I think this is really phenomenal that you were able to pick up on that and even expand and give an answer, but even expand on that. Not even like, oh yeah, here are some more ideas that you can do, but hey, you can come and mix it and start to learn and understand it yourself so that you can make
Exactly.
it and then take it with you. And then also the fact that you even expanded to where little girls are even being educated early to love
Hmm.
themselves and love their hair, coming from
That's
ethnic
huge for us.
backgrounds. I
Right.
think that is really, really big. And I think that goes with your company's mission, if I'm not mistaken,
It
about
absolutely
celebrating
does.
Black culture through the beauty and versatility of Black hair. Talk to me about that mission.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we all know hair is a huge part of Black culture, and there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of beauty in that. Like the
Mm-hmm.
versatility of Black hair is unmatched. And I think that's what I love most about my hair. And that's what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to reflect in my store. And so, from, pure natural kinks and curls to the more manipulated twist outs and braid outs to
Mm-hmm.
box braids, locks, and then protective styles like wigs
Mm-hmm.
and weave. We wanted to
Mm-hmm.
honor all of that and all of
Mm-hmm.
what makes up our versatility. And so we do carry and focus on natural hair products, but we also focus on protective styling solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and celebrating the fact that we can switch up our looks and we can pull off any style that we want to. So cut, color, you
Nice.
name it. We want to provide the resources and tools necessary for Black women, Black men to just love their natural beauty,
Mm-hmm.
get creative with it, embrace it, and really
Mm-hmm.
learn how to care for their hair, no matter what style they're doing.
Exactly. I love it. And you kind of covered and talked about some of the different products you have in your store. You kind of told us that you have all the natural hair care products, but you also have weaves and wigs and different other
Hmm.
ethnic culture hair supply needs. Is it
Hmm.
anything else that you have in your store that would be really unique and different for our audience?
Yeah, so definitely a focus on natural hair care. We're pretty intentional in the products that we put on our shelf. So when you walk in, you're
Mm,
not gonna see a ton of like just cluttered shelves and things everywhere. We
mm-hmm,
have our
mm-hmm.
store intentionally spaced out so you can
Okay.
easily browse our products. We also have a full salon where we have natural hair experts that can assist you on your hair care journey. We have a nail tech as well. So that's
Mm.
another element
Oh,
of the
wow.
kind of personal care um, element that we add to our store. And we also have a full clothing boutique that we
Oh,
partnered with.
really?
Yes, we partnered with
Okay.
one of our stylists on. So our store is kind of a one-stop shop. And
I
not
was
only
going to
that,
say,
yeah,
that's exactly what was in my head. Like, this is a one-stop
yeah.
shop. You can do everything.
Exactly. And not only that, but another thing that I'm really excited about our store is that when you come to our store, you're patronizing four Black woman owned businesses. So there's For the
Mm,
Culture Beauty Supply, there's Break of Dawn Boutique, there's Yaya's International Nail Spa, there's Kelsey with Love by Kay by Kelsey Lynn. She's one of our natural hair experts, and also an influencer. We have my partner Shantika, who's also a stylist, and then
hmm.
the same owner of the boutique is also a hairstylist as well. So we're kind of a collective of Black women-owned businesses,
Yeah,
and we all share the same vision. So it's a beautiful experience, and one thing that I'm really really proud of.
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's definitely answering a need. And I appreciate you and all of your partners and who your partnerships being able to hone in on this and make it come to fruition. That's awesome. That is totally awesome. And it takes a lot of courage, right? It takes a lot of
Absolutely.
courage. So I'm really happy that you guys had the courage and and the wherewithal to be able to move forward on this vision. Because I don't know about you, audience and community, but this is something definitely that we've been doing, and this is helping others that are in the ethnic type of communities to learn to love our hair, right? To learn to love who we are,
Absolutely.
no matter whether that's a protective style or whether it's, something that you're wearing naturally, natural style. So I think that's awesome. But you also mentioned something else in the very beginning about how you were tapping into your love of the communication. I understand that you are a writer and a communicator at heart, like that's kind of your passion as well.
Hmm.
Talk to me
Yeah.
about that a little bit.
Yeah,
Maybe
for
make some
sure.
connections for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like at my core, that's how I would describe myself, a writer and a communicator. Writing is one of my outlets. I love creative writing, poetry. I
Mm,
have dreams of writing screenplays, books, all of those
okay.
things. And those are the things that come naturally to me. I'm very
Mm-hmm,
intentional in how I communicate with others. And I think that has contributed to my business and my pursuits in that area as well, because I have to learn how to communicate my vision
mm-hmm,
to my
mm-hmm,
consumers, how to reach out to my community, how to be able to listen, which is a big part of communicating. Listen to
mm-hmm.
my consumers, listen to the community, see what their needs are, and then attempt to meet them with my business strategy. So yeah, that's pretty much where that statement comes
Okay.
from.
Okay. Because I was thinking, I was like, I know she's a writer and a communicator, so that's still a part of that foundation. Is even like you want to take it even further, of course, in writing
Hmm.
plays and screenwrites and all that, but also that actually ends up being part of your asset in your business
Right,
because you are
for
able
sure.
to communicate and listen to what the client is needing. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned that all of the different minority business women that are in your store. So for
Hmm.
you, you know, um, as a minority businesswoman, there can be challenges, right? Or am
Absolutely.
I wrong?
Absolutely.
Okay,
No, you
so
are not wrong.
what kind of challenges do you see?
Oh, where do I start? No,
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I think
It's like, wait a minute. How
for
much time do we
sure,
have?
right, that part. I think, being a minority woman and a business owner, limited resources, I think, is one thing we all experience.
Mm-hmm,
Not having easy access
mm-hmm,
to business funds. Our store is self-funded.
mm-hmm,
So we had to figure it out, and we have to figure it out on a daily basis how we're going to
mm-hmm,
continue to grow and expand our business in the way that we want to. That
mm-hmm,
can get challenging because sometimes our ideas and our creativity are beyond our current resources.
mm-hmm.
So that can definitely get challenging. Another thing that I think we experience as minority businesses is harsher criticism.
Mm,
So you'll get these Yelp reviews sometimes, and
mhm,
you're like, I don't know if you walk into Target and judge them on these same things. Or,
mm,
I don't know if you walk into your traditional beauty supply and expect the same things, your
mm,
Asian owned beauty supply stores, and expect
mhm,
the same things as you do from us.
mhm,
So I think that's one thing that I would love for people to be aware of,
mhm,
judge all businesses from the same criteria and
mhm,
understand that small businesses are often operating with a lot less resources than
mhm,
these big businesses
mhm,
too. So
mhm,
that's another thing to be aware of as well. By no means am I saying settle for less. We definitely pride ourselves in excellent customer service, and we go the extra mile in any
mhm,
area that we can to provide our customers with a superior shopping experience. And I want the community to keep that in mind too, that
mhm, mhm,
we're doing the best we can. And I think
mhm,
I've heard from other business owners too that they struggle with that too, just
mhm.
trying to meet these sometimes unrealistic expectations from the community, but from a limited portion of the community. I'll say it's
Right,
not
right.
everybody.
It's
Yeah,
not
it's just
everybody.
yeah
Right.
it's just these
I
these a
got you.
few of them. So I think that's another challenge that you run into. And then of course the work-life balance,
All
as
right.
a woman, a mother, trying to balance your time, trying to
Mhm,
do it all. It can
mhm,
definitely
mhm.
be a challenge as well.
And yeah, as you said, just being a woman, that's going to be a life. That's going to be a life work the work-life balance, and maybe we ought to change it to say life-work balance. I just thought about
Right. That's a good
that.
point.
Right, right. I'm like, I was like, huh. I was going to correct myself, but then all of a sudden I kind of got nudged. Like, no, we may need to change that
Life.
to life-work balance. I'm gonna write
That's a
that
good
down.
one. Yeah. Coin that, trademark
Coin that,
that.
right? Yeah, because it's like maybe that ends up putting us where we need to be in our mindset, right? And thinking about life first, and then work being a part of that, because it doesn't take away from the work. It doesn't take away from our passion of what we do, but it helps us to put it in perspective correctly, right? So I think that's awesome. And I think it's awesome what you're doing, and the things that you've mentioned that have been challenges are challenges that, many people are trying to view and see how to take care of that. How do we meet that? I know we have small business organizations, the enterprises and different things that are even from the government, and that's helpful, I guess. But I guess we need to work more on how we can make it more accessible and easy. It's not like being a needle in a haystack, trying to find where's that needle. Here's where the answer is, but you're going to have to dig through all this to get to the needle. So I definitely understand that, as being a woman-owned business woman myself. But everything that you've been through and all that you have accomplished, you have a mantra that has probably supported all this through your life. So what would be your mantra for your life to help you get to this place?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, so I think I have two. So
Okay.
one is actually a quote, go where there's no path and leave a trail. And that's by
Mm,
Ralph Waldo Emerson. And I think that's
yeah.
one that I really kept top of mind as I began my collegiate journey, I think, especially going into grad school, because, I'm the fifth of 9 children, but I was the first to kind of complete my college degree and go on to grad school. And since then,
Congratulations.
thank you. But the most important part of that is, since then, many of my brothers and sisters have gone on to do the same. And
Good.
that's what my
Yeah.
goal has
There it
always been, is
is.
to
Mm,
chart out onto these paths, but bring other people with me, inspire others to do the same. And that's always been part of my life's work, my purpose, I believe.
mm-hmm,
So that's
mm-hmm.
definitely one thing that has driven me. Another one is start where you are with what you have and let God do the rest. And that was
That's
one that I
good.
really had to pull on when I started my business, because like I
Mm-hmm,
said, we were self-funded. I had
mm-hmm,
never run a business before, besides my little lemonade stand and all
mm-hmm.
that. So, and you could get paralyzed just thinking about
Sure,
like this insurmountable task ahead of you,
sure.
and a lot of people get stuck there. But
Mm-hmm,
what I would just hear in my spirit is, just start where you are with what
mm-hmm,
you have right now, and
mm-hmm.
let me do the rest. And so
Exactly.
that is
Yeah.
what I did.
Now that's it right there. I love both of those mantras, and I love how one kind of, supported you in the very genesis of your business, right? It supported
Hmm.
you in knowing that, hey, yeah, I know it looks scary, I know it looks sparse, but hey, you got to start with what you have, and right where you are. But I love how the other piece, Ralph Waldo Emerson, I love his quotes. I follow a lot of his quotes, and have them myself. But going where there's no path, but leaving a trail. I mean, I love that. That is definitely um, something that we can be able to use in our daily life to encourage us, no matter what it is. So that's awesome. And you
Absolutely.
talk about how, that actually, pulls on part of your purpose of encouraging people, being there for everyone. And I understand that not only you, but your whole family are very encouraging and uplifting to so many people around you. Why do you think that is? That's
That's
one
a
of the
good question.
things your soror, Brandy Day, actually came up with. So,
Really?
that lets me know you and your family are definitely inspiring.
I love her. But yeah, she's one of those people that are close to us and have gotten to know us, and I think one of the things is just the love and support that we show each other. There's
Mm,
9 of us, and I think,
hmm.
considering how many of us there are, the fact that we're all pretty close, and the love, respect, and admiration we have for one another is very, special to feel, and I
Hmm.
imagine special to see. And also, I think people who know our story and know the challenges we faced growing up, and to see where we are now, that can be, just inspiring to see. And then you know, in terms of my siblings, like just for example, my oldest brother, he's a genius in my eyes and such a
Mm,
visionary. You know, he was actually in the Army Reserve and then has always and went to Iraq for a year. But, you know, since
mhm,
he's been back, he's always been very talented at web development. Either is my older
mhm,
sister Jamila, she actually is the nurturer and the protector of our family, but she's
mhm.
super talented in like fashion and style and, you
Oh,
know, has her
wow.
own entrepreneurial dreams. And my brother Jason, he's a devoted father, huge heart and a like super creative mind. Like
Mhm.
he blows me away all the time. And then there's
Oh.
Janae, she's a boss. Like she's, you know, one of the people that I've always looked up to. She's my immediate older sister. She
Mhm.
you know, has her own business. She's been killing the game and in recruiting for
Nice.
many years, and then she now has her own like resume development and interview consulting business, so she does that. And then there's my younger brother Brandon, who's hilarious, charming. He's passionate about food and fitness, and you know has his
Mm.
goals of opening a restaurant and potentially kind of bringing in his fitness element there. So there's my younger sister Miracle. She's my baby genius. She's always been
Mm.
like super academically gifted and just
Mhm.
has accomplished every goal that she set her mind to. There's Robert. He actually went to Washington State University as well. Go Cougs! And he he works for Zulily and has his own little bachelor pad in downtown Seattle. Just, you know, living the perfect little early 20s life. And
Right.
my youngest brother, Alvan, who's not so little anymore, you know, he just turned 21. He's so talented, such a talented musical artist, singer,
Mm.
songwriter. And hopefully the world will get to hear his music soon. So I think all of those things, as you can see, I'm very passionate about my siblings. So I
Yes.
think that kind of like shows to other people, which can be encouraging. So yeah.
Yes, I can definitely see why Brandy said what she said about you and your family because you guys are awesome, and each one of you has an inspiring story, and you're killing the game, you know. So, you know who, and then
Working
the
on it.
fact that you're keeping it all together by being so grounded in just the love for each other and support is amazing.
Mhm.
We need more of that in this world, you know, love and support of each other, no matter
Mhm.
what we look like, where we come from. We need more love and support like this family is showing us. So community,
Definitely.
wrap around this. So I know we're coming close to the end. So I've got to ask you some questions. Like, what is your hashtag become a story? Like, if you could tell me what that would be, and then tell me a little bit about what you would tell other women who are trying to reach their goals and dreams.
Okay. My hashtag becomer story is one of authenticity and purpose.
Mm-hmm,
My journey has always been about reaching my full potential and inspiring others to do the same. And
mm-hmm,
I would say that this particular chapter in my story right now is about shedding my pain to uncover
mm-hmm.
my true purpose. I think, you know,
I
I've
love that.
accomplished a lot, but I also realize that a lot of that has been driven by pain. You know, the
Mm-hmm,
goals I've
mm-hmm,
set for myself has been driven to by combating my disappointment, and that's not
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
necessarily the life I want to live anymore. I want
Right.
to be free, shed my pain, and then
Yes.
also um in order to really uncover the true purpose that God
Mm-hmm.
has for me.
That's right.
And so that's kind of where I am, and that's my um work in progress story, I'll say.
Okay, that's your working. Yeah, see, it's still your hashtag become a story because
Yes,
hashtag become you're always
yes,
progressing, right? That's
always
why the
progress.
butterfly is definitely, you know, our symbol because it's, you know, you're always being able to morph, you know, into the next, you
Absolutely.
know, next you. So
Hmm.
what would you leave with women who are trying to get their own business and dreams, you know, just in goals, even if it's not being an entrepreneur, but different purposes and goals? What would you tell those women? Talk to our community.
Yeah, for sure. I would tell other women the same thing I tell myself, which is to start where you are with what you have. Believe in yourself, trust that you have exactly what you need to make your dreams come true. And everything you have is already inside of you. Do whatever
Mm-hmm.
it takes to find that. So that's what
Mm.
I would say.
Good. Yes, that's good. That's good. So who would you tag next for your hashtag become a story? Who would you tag
This
next?
was so hard, but
So
But
many
I
to
would,
choose from. I love
right,
it.
somebody
But
to
that's what
choose
we
from.
love. We're uncovering the
Okay.
gems that are already out here. So many of these gems are the untold stories. And we want to
Hmm.
be the channel to tell these stories about
Hmm.
hashtag Becomer series. We have men on here as well. So ladies don't, men
Hmm.
don't think it's just for our platform is for women, yes, but we have men to come on here to help us. We had the financial expert to come on here to help us dealing with finances, right? We're going to have a tax expert to come on next. That's going to talk to us about that because we're in that season. So we always have the experts come on, but to talk to us more about what is out there. But the hashtag Become a Stories are uncover these gems that are all over the world because we don't
Hmm.
just limit ourselves even to the US. I love to travel too. So I caught that, right? Once you
Hmm.
go, you just get the travel bug. And so we're
Absolutely.
we're reaching and talking to women who are outside the country as well to encourage
Hmm.
them. And we're encouraging college students, so that they can be able to move forward, especially during this time of what we dealt with this pandemic. We're trying to help them to move forward. So who would your hashtag Become a Story tag be?
My tag would be my sister, Janae Nicole. Um, and though we had a similar upbringing, she has her own story and she has her own challenges that she's overcome that has got, and her own techniques for how she's gotten to where she is today. Her story is so inspiring. As I mentioned, she's one of my role models. So
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely tag her as the next becoming story.
All right. Well, you hear that, Janae? We're coming for you. Thank your sister for that. But it's all good because we're uncovering gems. We're uncovering gems all across the whole world. So, what's the best way to get in contact with you and to get to your
um,
store? Like, we need to know. I mean, like, I'm
yes.
already intrigued and thinking about like, oh, what kind of concoctions can I make at that bar? That DIY bar
Hmm.
sounds awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you can reach me personally on Instagram at Cyndrea Renee. That's at CYNDREA RENEA. And my store for the Culture Beauty Supply is also on Instagram at For the Culture Beauty.
Excellent. And so at this time during the pandemic, are you mailing things out? How are you doing that?
Yep, absolutely. Well, we are actually open in store at the moment, but we are
Okay.
doing shipping. Curbside pickup is still available. And we periodically do delivery as well. So just give us a call to see if that's an option at the time. But yeah, shipping online. We also have a mobile app. So if you go in your app store on your iPhone or Android, just search For the Culture Beauty Supply. You'll find us. You can access our products. You can chat with us. You'll also get instant notifications for products, product updates, restocks, and hair tips. So that's another great way to access our store.
Awesome, because we want to make sure that we're able to give love and support to all of our community, right? So thank
Absolutely.
you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. It's very inspiring, makes you want to go out and just do it, right? And knowing that we want to start where we are with what we have, right, to go
Yes.
forward. So we appreciate that so much. Continue to follow the movement of Journey to Becoming, hashtag Becomer Stories. You can look us up on Journey, the number 2, becoming.com. That's our website where you'll find all of our social media links, such as Instagram and Twitter, and all of that's out there. Look us up and stay tuned to the next Journey to Becoming Hero, our hashtag Becomer Stories. Have a good one. Stay safe and spread the love.